Your Honor, we have case hashtag 2025021-01 Dallas Carter versus the state.
Who is representing the state?
Mr. Huntsam representing the state.
Miss Varela Naiche presents the defendant, Your Honor.
Young lady, when addressing this court you are to stand, is that understood?
Of course, Your Honor.
This is a serious matter, ladies and gents. I will not have my courtroom be made a mockery. Act on your best behavior, or one of my lovely bailiffs may escort you out. Mr. Carter, correct?
That's right.
Mr. Dallas Carter, you have been charged with following crimes under the laws of the great state of California. 1 count resisting arrest / misdemeanor, fine $1,000. 1 count assault on a police officer / felony, fine $2,000. 1 count assault with a deadly weapon, ADW, / felony, fine $10,000. 1 count aggravated battery W / serious bodily injury. 1 count attempted kidnapping. 1 count attempted murder. Under the rights of this land, you are entitled to an attorney. If can't afford one, the court will provide one for you. Do you understand the charges and rights before you, Mr. Carter?
Yeah, I understand.
How does your client plea?
Not guilty, Your Honor.
Mr. DA, is there anything to add or that was missed?
No, that is all, Your Honor.
Are both parties prepared to go to trial?
Yes, Your Honor, we are prepared.
Yes, Your Honor, I am prepared.
Okay, very well, let us begin. Mr. Huntsman, please proceed with opening statement.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, today you will hear about a violent and disturbing series of events, all caused by the defendant, Dallas Carter. The facts of this case are as follows. On one fateful day, the defendant entered the home of Harlow Jefferson he claims to have had a relationship with. However, rather than finding a peaceful resolution to whatever conflict he might have had, he found a car parked in her driveway that belonged to another man. What should have been a moment of rationality quickly spiraled into violent rage. In a fit of jealousy and aggression, the defendant brutally assaulted this Miss Jefferson in her own home. Her friend found her unconscious, clinging to life, a victim of a senseless attack. But the defendant's violent actions did not stop there. Days later, when law enforcement officers attempted to arrest him for this assault, he chose to escalate the situation even further. He fired shots at an officer, barely missing him. Minutes later, he would shoot another officer in the arm, sending that officer to the hospital with serious injuries. But the defendant's recklessness did not end with just one act of violence. In the chaos of his attempt to evade capture, he took a woman hostage, holding her at gunpoint and threatening her life. As if that wasn't enough, he proceeded to shoot a third officer in the chest. Thankfully, that officer was wearing a bulletproof vest and survived. What we are dealing with here is not just a simple assault. This is a pattern of escalating violence and assault on a police officer, assault with a deadly weapon, attempted kidnapping, attempted murder, and aggravated battery W, serious bodily injury, all committed in a short span of time. The defendant has shown an utter disregard for human life, for the law, and for the safety of those around him. By the end of this trial, we will present you with evidence, witnesses, and testimony that will prove the defendant's actions beyond a reasonable doubt. We ask you to find him guilty, not just for the assault on the woman in her home, but for the series of violent, dangerous acts that followed. Justice demands that Dallas Carter be held accountable for what he has done.
Thank you, Your Honor. We are here for a very serious matter. The charges against my client, Mr. Carter, are very serious. Most would say he is a bad guy, and you will hear of some very heinous things that occurred. But I want you to keep in mind that with every action is a reaction. What causes a person to go to the extreme lengths that Mr. Carter went to? My client is no more or less than any of you. He has actions and his reactions. He has feelings, and oftentimes they are strong. I know for certain there are times I cry myself to sleep with a good gallon of ice cream watching romantic comedy because tragedies are too much like my love life. And that's what I want you to focus on. This is a man who, while yes, may not have some favorable reactions, is still a man nonetheless. Thank you.
State, call your first witness.
Your Honor, the state would like to call Harlow Jefferson to the stand.
Please bring forth the Bible. Place your hand on the Bible, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do, Your Honor.
Please be seated.
Miss Jefferson, can you please tell the court where you were on the day of the assault?
I was at home, having a glass of wine.
Was there anything unusual about the day before the assault happened?
Not really. I hadn't seen Dallas that day. I wasn't sure I would.
Can you describe what happened when the defendant, Dallas Carter, arrived at your home?
Yes, I heard banging on my door, so I went to go see what the commotion was about. Dallas was there, and he just looked so upset. He had this look in his eye. I went to greet him and he just started to yell at me. He had been over at his brother's house prior. Something happened there that made him upset, and when he was leaving, he saw a truck in my driveway. That set him off.
Can you tell us what happened when he entered your home?
We got into a verbal fight. We kept going back and forth. He wouldn't listen to reason.
Did you feel threatened by Dallas during this assault?
I'd never felt scared of him or threatened by him. He was always the one protecting me.
Did you lose consciousness during the assault?
Not after the first punch, no. I remember him hitting me in the face a few times. I could hear myself crying out for him to stop, but he didn't. He threw me against the wall. That's when I felt it, this warm liquid down my back. I remember the pain as if someone had cut off all the oxygen in the room. The way my body crumpled, it wasn't till after that everything went black.
Miss Jefferson, can you describe what happened when your friend found you?
No, when I woke up I was in a hospital bed.
Miss Jefferson, in your opinion, did Dallas intend to hurt you that day?
No, I don't think that was his intention. I think he thought we would do what we always did, have an argument, and then we end up talking it out after all the screaming.
After the assault, did you fear for your life or for your safety?
Yes, I knew what I was doing. If I said something to someone, in particular to the cops, he would try to do something. He never wanted to tell me about his world. He said he wouldn't ever let me get involved in that life. Seeing him so easily hurt the one thing that he once said he protect with his life, I knew if I talked, he'd come after me.
Miss Jefferson, do you recognize the man sitting in front of you today as the person who assaulted you?
Yes.
The state has no further questions, Your Honor.
Your witness, Counselor.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Miss Jefferson, you mentioned in one of your responses that you were at home enjoying a glass of wine, and my client came banging at your door. What was your relationship with Mr. Carter at the time of the incident? To your best knowledge.
He was my boyfriend at that time.
So with that in mind, would you, hypothetically, be upset seeing the vehicle of someone else in front of your boyfriend's house if you weren't aware it would be?
Considering he never told me what he did for a living, no, I trusted him.
Fair enough. Though, when you answered the door, did it start physically, or was it just verbal at that time?
Just verbal.
So out of curiosity of the court, how did it become physical? It seems like one of those things that could be resolved verbally.
One would have thought that, especially because we never actually been physically in that way till then. He was accusing me of being a whore, so I threw a pillow at him first, then my wine glass.
So you began to make things physical with him before he even considered touching you?
I never hid that. I shared that in my statement with the police, which you would have seen and read.
Though I am sure there must have been something more that had to be done. I saw the pictures of the result. Was there anything more that happened to make him react in that way?
No, I am 5'5" and do yoga. He's over 6 foot and over 200 pounds.
Okay, but were you aware that wine in itself has a compound within its alcohol that can cause irritation, soreness, and can result in vision loss, and would be considered a chemical splashing?
That's if I were drinking a normal wine, but I was drinking a low-sulfite wine that evening.
When you threw the drink, was it just the drink in the glass, or did you throw the glass as well?
First off, I would never throw a glass with wine in it. That's blasphemy. I had all